Thanks so much, Lindsay Slater. It is 7:48. You know, we've been talking a lot about weddings lately, and of course, wedding season is upon us. But one thing we haven't talked about is protecting your assets before you get married. And our friend and attorney, Mark Chinn, joins me this morning with more on prenuptial agreements. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right. Now, unlike my friend, Lindsay Slater, I don't have anything right now, I don't own anything, but if I were to own some stuff a little later, Mark, I want to protect it. So who should actually be looking into getting a prenup?
Well, first of all, Paul McCartney should have,
yes.
should have looked into getting a prenup.
But he was in love.
And I think the Prince of Wales should also look into getting a prenup. Prenuptial agreements are valid agreements that people can enter into before their marriage to set forth a lot of things, to set forth how they want to live, some of the rules of their marriage. They can set forth what might happen in case of a divorce so that there are less problems in the event of a divorce. They can also set forth what might happen in the event of a death.
Now, what can a prenup actually cover? Is this for the children as well, or is it just money and for all your finances?
Prenuptial agreements can cover just about anything except probably what happens with children. The courts always feel like they have the final say-so in what's in the best interest of the children and what should be the custody of the children. But certainly people can try to set forth what they would like to have happen with their children, how they would like to have them cared for. But in the end, the courts are going to decide anything dealing with children. Yeah. So it's mostly assets.
Okay. So now, do you see this a lot before people get married, or is this something that you do? Can you do it during your marriage?
Yes, a prenup done during the marriage is actually called a postnup.
Okay.
In other words, you can enter into a contract after you're married to say all of the things that you would have said in a prenup. And a lot of times people do this in an effort to try and reconcile their marriage. They might be having trouble in their marriage, and so they say, okay, we're going to get back together, but we want certain things understood if we do. And this actually allows them to feel more secure about trying to reconcile their marriage.
Now, somebody comes to you and they want to start this process. What are the first steps that you're going to ask of them?
Well, the first thing that people should think about is to plan well in advance. One of the biggest problems is how to broach the subject. Some people call prenuptial agreements romance killers. So, you know, if a guy mentions a prenup to his potential fiancée, that might sour the relationship. So you have to give some thought to that. But you should think about them well in advance. The next thing you need to do is get to an attorney right away and then engage in what we call full financial disclosure. Each party should let the other party know what they have financially. Then the next thing is to make sure there's plenty of time to negotiate and draft the prenuptial agreement. I've had women come to me who've signed prenuptial agreements that were handed to them while they were in curlers for their wedding and told either sign this or there's not going to be a marriage. Those kinds of prenuptial agreements are subject to being set aside. So you need to give yourself plenty of time to make sure that they're valid.
And how does this improve if something were to go bad in the marriage and there is a separation, how does this improve that process of separating from each other?
Prenuptial agreements can actually make the divorce process a lot easier and less expensive for everybody. And people seem to think that prenuptial agreements are purely designed to protect perhaps the rich person, but actually the person who may not be the rich person can obtain protection in divorce by providing that they will receive certain payments in divorce, even though they might not have been able to get those kind of payments if they didn't have the prenuptial agreement. So prenuptial agreements can give the less financially secure person more security in the event that there is a divorce, but for sure a valid prenuptial agreement can prevent a lot of expense and delay in the divorce process.
All right, you sound like you know a lot about this, so if somebody wants to come and get some information about a prenuptial agreement or any of your services, where can they find you?
Well, we're at 4316 Old Canton Road in Jackson, and we're at 601-366-4410. Our website is chinnandassociates.com.
All right, Attorney Mark Chinn, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Appreciate it as always.